Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what opportunities lie currently and in the future because of the premium of the human experience. So, in other words, because so many people are lacking a human connection with each other these days, there's actually opportunities in it. And I kind of want to talk about that in a positive light. Again, we didn't cause these problems. Society at large just decided to go in a different direction than humans were made for, and therefore, people are just losing connection with each other and getting depressed. And I think many times people are desperate for something. Like, what are they desperate for? They're so desperate for human connection. And I think anybody who's up to the challenge, even including myself, because I'm not perfect in this regard, there are many things that we can do to help people and also make money at the same time, right? So this has been a problem going on for quite some time. And I remember back in the day when I was in high school, one of the things that would really like blow my mind was that, let's say, people would talk to me online through Instant Messenger, which was the platform back in the day, AIM. And I talked to them online, and then real life they act like they didn't know me. And I had this happen to me several times, and I was just blown away that people were kind of two-faced like that. And you may have experienced this with like the modern social platforms. So, for example, people like talk to you on Facebook, but when you see them in real life, they act like they don't know you. In fact, I remember when I was like doing Uber driving, because once upon a time I was really broke and poor, and I did Uber, and I picked up this basketball player who played for Georgia State at the time, and I asked him like, "Hey, do people talk to you on Facebook and then act like they don't know you in real life?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Man, this society sucks." And at the time, I didn't have the mindset of, "Oh, we have to actually go ahead and solve the problems, or that there's opportunity there," because I was just passive as everybody else, and I was just like, what's going on here, right? And so the reason why I talk about this is because, again, if you do some simple Google searches, like what's the rate of depression in Gen Z adults, it's probably like 50%, right? And once upon a time, there probably was a time where like if the depression rate was like probably like 5 or 10%, people would be freaking out. But kind of like other health problems, once it's so widespread in society, then people just kind of I guess sweep it under the rug and just learn to live with it. It's funny how that works, right? When you break taboos and stuff. So once upon a time, certain taboos, um, if somebody found out about it in your small town or whatever, people will like freak out. But if it's, that taboo has been broken by everybody, we'll just sweep it under the rug and pretend it's normal. That's how it is, right? And you could see here in 2007, this article from crack.com, it says that studies show that 1 out of 4 people have no one they can confide in. So this is back in 2007. So think about nowadays, the problem is probably worse. And now the average person has zero people that they can confide in, right? And so I'm not going to read this entire article, but I think it's worth a good read to understand like how we got here and why, the average person is pretty miserable. And I think the opportunities, I want to just kind of briefly talk about them. What are they? Is if you're an entrepreneur and you want to be able to help people and then make money at the same time, I think these are the three opportunities that people are, if you're able to create some sort of environment that satisfies um, these things. So if you can show leadership, like true leadership, I think people are desperate for that, right? I think people are desperate for someone to lead them to the promised land. And it doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to cure all the diseases in the world, but maybe take them to a certain promised land that will help them, right? So finances, one of the things I like to talk about is like diet, right? I don't talk about too much in this channel, but I think that's a really important one. I think people are just begging to be led because a lot of people just have no direction. And another thing too is if you're able to create an environment or an experience where there's true, authentic friendship and communication and community, that's also a premium experience because people don't have that nowadays. A lot of people, even when you go to a lot of social institutions like school or places like that, people just don't talk to each other. They just go there, do their thing and then go home and what's going on here, right? Like what's happening with other people? You have no idea, right? So the opportunity is, at least for you, is maybe to show your or develop leadership skills, lead people to the promised land, create a group where people can be friends with each other, create a group where people have a authentic place of community and where they can authentically, that's the key word of the day, express themselves and have open communication and dialogues with people, because that's very rare. I mean, how many times have you been in an environment where people are asking you, how are you, right? And the only answer they want to accept is, I'm fine. That's not a place where authentic communication is allowed. Because I remember being shocked when I was like 18, 19, adults would have talked to me where it's like, hey, how are you? And I just actually tell them the real answer. They look at me like the dumbest person on earth, right? Like, it happened to me several times. I think nowadays it doesn't happen as much, or maybe it's just because I'm older. But I think it's because most people are in such a bad position, they actually tell me the truth. But I remember a long time ago, because maybe times were a little bit better, people wouldn't accept any answer except like, "Oh, I'm fine," right? And here's the other thing too. This is not going to be an easy effort to create these types of things for people, because most people, in my opinion, are like abused dogs, right? Like, you share them care, you share them some affection, and they'll kind of like rebuke you because that's all they know, right? They're in an environment. They're kind of like in Plato's cave. I don't know if you ever heard that allegory of Plato's cave. I'm not going to go to it too much, but sometimes people are just so used to that environment without leadership, without friendship, without community, without real communication, and they don't know what they need. So once you kind of give them the solution, they'll kind of like attack you, right? That might happen. And I know that several times it's happened to me. And because, I have to work on my own deficiencies, I gotta step it up, right? So when, let's say a young person tells me, and I've had this happen to me several times before, young person tells me, hey, like, I've learned so much from you in 1 hour of conversation than I ever have like in school. I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. And then they never talk to me again. And I'm like confused, right? And that's because I have to be more active in reaching out to them, and almost in an annoyingly way, like almost knock on the door, say, hey, where are you? Right? Because they're lost in a world where they're just kind of retreating and they have no idea, they grew up, as plants without any water or soil, right? So they're not right. And I don't want to say that because, like, I used to always think like, I don't remember back in the day, there was always that phrase like, "Hey, don't trust anyone over 30." And nowadays, I hate to say this, but I kind of feel like it's the opposite, or maybe it's just me. Um, maybe I'm the one with the wrong thoughts. I don't know, but yeah. So again, because the human experience is at such a premium, I think that's why there's always going to be opportunities, and the opportunities will be the human experience. I really do. Because so many people, they just go into life, they're in like a room of 20, 30 people, and they just don't connect with them. And if you're able to connect with them and do little things, show them that you care, or just remember their names. Like today I went to like the farmers market, right? And I got my order, and the farmer just said my name. He Every time I go, and I don't order from all the time, but every time I go, he just orders my name, and I was like, I'm special, because he said my name, and I only order from like once every 3 months, right? And that's how it should be. People should remember you, even if they have like one or two interaction with you a year. I don't know why he remembers me. Maybe I'm the only Asian guy who orders from him directly, and all the other Asians go to that super huge Asian supermarkets in the area, and I want to order from the farmer because I'm weird and special. But back to my point, little interactions like that where you're creating a premium human experience, I think, is where the opportunity lies in modern society, not in more technology. Obviously, there's going to be more technology, and if Apple comes out with the next product, people will go like gung ho for it, and buy another iPhone that doesn't really improve their lives just because they don't know what else to spend their money on. But because they're so lacking in quote water and sunshine, that's what the human experience will be. It'll be water and sunshine for most of the people. I hope that makes sense, right? I haven't really fleshed this idea out, but I just want to throw that out there. Okay, awesome. So this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. If you're interested in joining our group, go ahead and click the Google form link below. And also, if you're interested in joining our YouTube channel, only 99 cents a month, click the join button on the channel, and you get access to exclusive emojis and also access to a once a month live stream. All right, have a great day, everybody, and we'll speak next time.